Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Triangle Offense. I'm Munish, and as always, I'm joined by Nishant. On today's episode, we wanted to talk about the trade deadline, the whole drama and the whole fury of trades that happened, and also the two signings that happened after the trade deadline, which were pretty interesting and kind of expected, I would say.
Sure.
The Lakers signing at least was expected, the net signing, not so much, but wow, that strengthens the net. So let's start off with that.
Yeah.
Andre Drummond to the Lakers. I think Lakers had one weak point. I mean, apart from the injuries, of course, and they looks like they fixed that. Is Drummond an upgrade over Marc Gasol? I would think I know the answer to that, but does he really make them like? Does he elevate them so much that it really makes a difference?
It does. At this stage, if you play Caruso at the five, he's an upgrade over Mark Gasol. He really is. And I mean this in the nicest way. As a Lakers fan, I love the Gasol family, mama, papa, brother, everyone. But Mark Gasol was a ferocious big man. He just isn't anymore. He's past his prime. That's all it is. Let's not drag it any further than that. But he's not what the Lakers hoped he would be. And I was foolish to hope he would be because plenty of pundits said he's not the same guy. Like last year in Toronto, he didn't
Hmm.
look like the same guy that picked up a chip when Kawhi was around, right? He's
Hmm.
deteriorated. And you'd see a lot of that even now. He is not the same level rim protector. Sure, he can shoot some threes, but he's not as mobile as he was before. So
Yeah.
it's going to take him a while even to get that shot off. Everything's just slower. The mechanics are just, it's like watching it in slow motion, right? So he's just not what the Lakers need, especially that he's a follow up to the departure of Dwight Howard and JaVale
Hmm. Hmm.
McGee. Excuse me. So let's look at just the big man department, right? Lakers had kind of in rotation either McGee or Dwight Howard
Hmm.
play the
Hmm.
five, and they
Yep.
lost both.
Yep.
And both did a mighty fine job, I might add, whenever they were called upon, especially in the
Right.
playoffs. So then the Lakers replaced them with Montrezl Harrell, who I love, but he is
Hmm.
undersized for his position, which
Yep.
means he's going to come up quite literally short against some of the big men in the Western Conference. You talk about Gobert, you talk about Jokic just toyed around with him in the Western Conference
Yeah.
semifinals last season, right? So then the Lakers need a big, like a traditional big man. Marc Gasol was brought in for that purpose. He didn't quite fit the bill, right? So they needed to bolster that. I understand the Lakers are a top heavy team.
Right.
It's not even a debate. It's LeBron, AD, and it's everyone else. In that team, they lost Danny Green, sure. They
Hmm.
lost Avery Bradley, but they didn't have Bradley for the playoffs either last season.
Right.
They replaced them with Dennis Schroeder, who's straight
Hmm.
up a starting point guard, who can run the ball when LeBron's not on the court. You can get
Hmm.
his own shot, and he's one of the most tenacious defenders in the league. So they upgraded there for sure. The big man is where they came up short. Dwight Howard plus JaVale McGee, that's a lot of rebounds and rim protection that you're giving up.
Right.
So Gasol was a liability. Drummond is several leagues above Gasol right now. He's the best rebounder in the league by far, and he's
Yep.
an above average rim protector. And he takes away all of that duty from Anthony Davis, who can then come back and continue to play the four without bumping bodies with Embiid and the likes whenever it is that
Right.
they meet them, NBA Finals or whatever else. It's a huge upgrade. They've upgraded big time in rebounds, they've
Hmm.
upgraded in rim protection. But my belief is the biggest upgrade is they've given an elite player to guard and cover Anthony Davis and keep him free of all of that dirty work,
And I think
especially
that's
coming off of an
important. Yeah.
injury. So that's a big move for the Lakers. I loved that trade. So that signing.
Do you rate this signing over the other big trade that happened, or the other big signing that happened about Lamarcus Aldridge going to the Nets? And I think that's a huge upgrade because the one place that the Nets lacked was also the big man. The number five was almost non-existent. DeAndre Jordan kind of playing like his former self in the past few weeks, but he was way past his prime, like Marc Gasol.
Sure.
Now, Aldridge was a starter for the Spurs at the start of the season. He played a lot of games, so he is still at a good level. Obviously, not at his peak, but I think
Yeah.
he's still at a good level. He adds a lot of value to the Nets. Do you think that's a bigger upgrade than the Drummond piece?
It's not even close. Uh,
Uh huh.
Drummond is a starting big man in the league. And for
Mm-hmm.
years now, he's been the best rebounding big man in the league. For years, it's not. He's a 20 and 15 guy in his sleep. It's not
Mm-hmm.
even close. Aldridge at his best. is a ferocious offensive option and a pretty good defensive option. Aldridge is not at his best. Both him and Blake Griffin are good side pieces to have. I still
Mhm.
think Brooklyn Nets are ferocious. I think they should be the favorites to win the title. And that was even before they got Blake Griffin and Aldridge. They're both nice pieces, but they're both well past their prime. I don't think it's nice to bolster your DeAndre Jordan with a Blake Griffin and an Aldridge. But I don't know if people have noticed, DeAndre Jordan got quite a bit better. He started off quite shaky, he didn't quite fit into the system. And then eventually he grew into that 12 and
Yeah.
15 points a night, 10 rebounds a night kind of player. So he should, in my opinion, he should still be their starting option.
Right.
Blake Griffin and Aldridge are both nice pick and roll options to have
Mhm.
in different ways. Blake Griffin is great at the rim. Aldridge has an elite mid range game. He probably still does. And he can shoot from the outside here and there. These are nice pieces to have, but it's not a game changer by any stretch. Their game changers are their big three. They still are, and they've been as good as ever if they can get Kevin Durant back fit. It Anyone who rates Blake Griffin and Aldridge signings as like this is a big time deal, this elevates it. No, it doesn't. It makes them marginally better. It doesn't elevate them.
Mhm.
But I don't think they needed elevation. They were already head and shoulders above most teams in the league. So this is a nice backup to have. It reminds me of the Lakers that lost to the Pistons in '04. On paper, they signed Gary Payton, one of the best point guards to ever play, especially on defense. And they signed Karl Malone, one of the greatest power forwards ever. If not for Jordan, he'd
Right.
probably have 2 rings. Twice he lost to the Bulls in the finals, right?
Right.
They got both of these guys, and everyone just lost it on paper. What a team, right? Gary Payton, Kobe Bryant, whoever plays at the three on the wing, Devin George, or whoever else they play, Karl Malone and Shaq. Except it wasn't the Gary Payton from the 90s.
Mhm.
It wasn't the Karl Malone from the 90s. They were well past their prime, late 30s. And that's how I view Blake
Right.
Griffin and Aldridge. So I don't think they're the game changers, but they're nice pieces to have.
Amongst the other contenders, I mean, and I'll give you a few options here. The 76ers adding their point guard George Hill. The Clippers adding another point guard Rondo. The Nuggets upgrading big time with Aaron Gordon and
Yeah.
McGee. And the Miami Heat upgrading big time with Victor Oladipo and keeping all of their young folks in the
Right.
squad itself. Which among these four teams do you think had the best the transfer day or the trade deadline day, you could call it?
I'd have to say the Nuggets for sure. Because start of the season, we expected them to be right up there, right in the West. In fact,
Right.
I remember we picked them over the Jazz initially.
Yep. Yep.
Largely because we thought Mike Conley was done. Last season, he looked washed up.
Yep.
We thought Mitchell and Gobert and Bogdanovich, we didn't know what to expect. And Jordan Clarkson, who would have seen that coming? All
Yeah.
of these things changed and, of course, elevated the Jazz. But we thought the Nuggets were there. Despite losing Jeremy Grant and that defense, they were there. They had Jamal
Yep.
Murray, they had Michael Porter Jr., they had Joker, of course, and Gary Harris, who's a decent 3-and-D, and they had some Facundo, blah, blah, blah. What is their biggest drawback, the Nuggets? You know they've got offense. When you've got Jokic,
Yep.
they've got offense. Defense, they were so heavily reliant on Jeremy Grant, especially
Right.
in the postseason, right?
Right.
They played the Lakers in the finals. Who was guarding LeBron? Grant. They played the Clippers. Who was guarding Kawhi? Jeremy Grant. So they lost
Yep.
Jeremy Grant, who bet on himself, went to Detroit, and might I say he proved himself right. But the Nuggets still lost him. In Aaron Gordon, they get a better scorer by far than Jeremy Grant.
Mhm.
They get a pretty good defender. Maybe he's not as good as Jeremy Grant, but he's not way off. So
Right.
you're looking at an already top 3, top 4-ish team that could viably gun for a top 2 shot in the West if they keep this going,
Mhm.
who've strengthened their offense big time and bolstered their defense, which was their only real weakness, honestly.
Right.
So by far they won it. Oladipo, we spoke about this trade before it happened, and I said I wasn't wild about Miami getting it. I don't see where they fit him in.
Mhm.
It's just like we're not very sure of our team, so let's just throw more resources at it. That's a startup approach to problem solving. You've not diagnosed the problem. You're not quite sure how to solve it. But your best thing is let's just take high quality resources and chuck them at the problem and they'll figure it out. No, they won't. So I don't see how Oladipo quite fits in. Somebody's going to suffer. And if Oladipo comes in at the expense of Robinson, Nunn, Dragic, Hero, wherever they slot him in, or Butler, I don't see
Hmm.
how he makes them markedly better than they were before. It's a nice piece
Right.
to have. It's great. Amazing rotation. But it doesn't elevate them the way Aaron Gordon elevates the Nuggets. So for
I,
me, the Nuggets won the trade deadline.
I think I have to agree. I think for the exact same reason that you said that the Nuggets became substantially better than
Right.
what the Miami Heat became. And so I think Nuggets would have to be my winners for the trade deadline. And I think also the Chicago Bulls, who got Vucevic
Oh yeah.
to
Oh
add
yeah.
as a side piece for Zach Levine. I think that's a immense trade for them. If not this season, I think next season there'll be a team to contend with.
Yeah.
Not really for the title, but I think there'll be a pain for everyone who faces them. But that's all I have for today. I think we're running out of time, but we'll come back and analyze some of these trades. We'll have to look at the Kyle Lowry drama that unfolded on the
Yeah.
final day of the trade deadline. That was intense with three teams chasing him. We'll come back and talk about that. But that's all for today. Uh, Super fun talking to you, and back to the games from tonight.
All right, man. Take care. I just want to put in that I'm gutted. Um, I really feel for Drake who FaceTimed Kyle Lowry and a bunch of teenagers lost their shit. Because Drake's time is worth money. Time is money, man. And well, Lowry's there. I think to be to be fair, they're not in Toronto right now. They're in Tampa. So the
Mm-hmm.
home crowd connection is kind of the weak.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I think Lowry would still be gone in the postseason.
Off-season.
I
Yeah,
think
postseason.
that's yeah, because they've got to build, they've got to move on,
Yep.
and Lowry still has a year or two to give. So there will be teams interested. I think it's a win-win for both parties, and given his loyalty to Toronto, I'm sure they'll do everything they can to not just trade him away, but to send him where he wants to go and find a place
Yeah.
that he would benefit from. I think Kyle Lowry's earned that respect in Toronto. That's still, I still think that's on the cards. But I actually respect the Raptors that they didn't go about this in a hurry. Like they
Right.
didn't settle for a subpar offer. I
Right.
respect Masai Ujiri and the whole organization for that. But yeah, let's talk more about this tomorrow.
All right then. See you. Bye.
Peace.